Go.
All right, guys. Welcome to a new episode of TFL Today.
Yep. Hey, guys, we're breaking into our normally scheduled programming, which, of course, is the Jeep Trackhawk review that's on our TFL Car Now YouTube channel. And we're here because this week has been mind-blowing about news. You guys keep asking about Jeep Scrambler news. Well, Jeep pickup news. Kind of gave it away there.
Yeah, a little bit.
You keep asking about the Santa Cruz. We got news on that.
Yep.
We've got news on the Ram 1500.
And news on the new 2018 Toyota Tacoma. So a lot of truck news today.
A lot of truck news, but let's get to the big stuff right away, and that is, of course, the new Jeep JL pickup truck, which, according to leaked information, is going to be called the Scrambler. Who would have thunk?
Who would have thunk?
Yeah.
And so, of course, the Scrambler is a throwback name to the 1980s, the CJ8 pickup, which was based, it was a long wheelbase C7 that they threw a truck bed on. That was produced from 1981 to 1986, so it's harkening back to that name. But the name is really less important than some of the details we actually have on the truck itself. So of course the big news is this engine that we've found. It's a 3-liter diesel, a turbo diesel V6 that's going to be in the Scrambler. Yeah,
it's going to be a diesel engine, which means, at least to my way of thinking, that this is going to be a real truck, not just some
pickup.
Yeah, some like half
Wrangler with a bed.
Exactly. Yeah.
And more news supporting that. There's two other big pieces of information about this truck. So we think there's going to be a bigger Dana rear axle.
Yep.
Which of course will help with payload and towing.
Yep.
The rumors are for a Dana 60, but we don't actually know right now. You can't quite tell from the blueprints that have been leaked, but we know it's a bigger rear axle, which is of course huge for towing. And the other big thing is that the wheelbase is actually 205 inches, which is 33 inches longer than the 4-door JK Wrangler.
Yeah, so I think we're looking at a real mid-size pickup truck that's going to compete with the upcoming Ranger. And I know all of you Jeep guys out there have been dying for a Jeep pickup truck, and it makes sense because when you think about it, and we'll get to Ram news as well, when you think about it, Ram doesn't have a mid-size pickup. So this slots in really nicely under the 1500, and that'll give FCA, of course, this ability to have a mid-size, a full-size, and a heavy-duty pickup truck.
That's right.
And what a better brand than Jeep to do it in.
I know, I'm actually super excited. It's been a while since there's been a Jeep truck around, so it's kind of fun for me to see a new Jeep truck coming along.
Yeah, especially if it's got some serious off-road chops. And, this is a great time to be in the pickup market if you're up there looking for a new pickup truck, because we've got the ZR2, which is potentially the most off-road capable pickup in the mid-size class. We've got spy photos on our website, TFL Truck, of the new Ranger Raptor potentially.
And maybe a mule vehicle for the Bronco.
Yep, and maybe a mule vehicle for the Bronco. And now we've got Jeep jumping into the pool at the deep end with what most likely will be a very off-road worthy pickup truck. So let's just recap again for all you guys who came in late. The news that was leaked on the, I think it's called
Scrambler. Jeep Scrambler forums, which is a sister site of one of our friends, the Jeep JL Wrangler forums.
Right, so it was leaked on there. And if you go to TFL Truck, there's no picture of it, but there is a picture of the chassis.
Yeah.
So we've got the fact that it's going to be a diesel. It's going to be available in a convertible.
Three kinds of convertible tops.
Yep.
So there's a black 3-piece hardtop, body color 3-piece hardtop, and then a black soft top.
Yeah. And for all these stories, guys, a lot of this stuff, if you're interested in seeing it, we're live now, so we can't actually cover this with video.
Right.
But what we can do is we can send it over to TFL Truck, and we'll have pictures of some of this stuff, so be sure you do that. And speaking of Jeep news, if you look behind us, we've got our JK, and this weekend, as part of our diff lock episode, we're going to be lifting it. So we've Terraflex lift that's going on, a 3.5-inch lift, and we just got those today. Those are Firestone Destination MT2s, the brand new MT2s.
Huge, big, beefy off-road tires. Yeah.
So we're all going to be at the shop this weekend lifting our Jeep JK. And we'll be, of course, doing a video of that entire process. And a lot of people might be saying, so what, another 3.5-inch lift on a Jeep? We did a before video where we took it up one of the hardest local trails called Plane Damage, and we're going to compare it after we do the lift. So we'll give you guys a really thorough before and after comparison of what it's like to drive a Jeep after you lift it and why you might want to consider lifting it. All right, let's keep moving on with the truck news. What's next?
Next up is something that you are actually somewhat of an expert on, and that is the Hyundai Santa Cruz.
Hyundai like Sunday.
Hyundai
like Sunday, dude.
Hyundai like Sunday. I love Sundays.
Yeah, don't we all? That's what Hyundai will say.
Yeah.
In Europe, it's Hyundai.
Hyundai.
Yeah. But here, supposedly it's Hyundai. Yeah, so we've got Santa Cruz news. And if you want to see the Santa Cruz, once again, go to TFL Truck. This is kind of the...
It's Hyundai's entering into the midsize truck market.
Yeah, it slots in below the midsize. It's a really compact
it's small,
truck.
Yeah.
It kind of follows up in the Subaru Baja.
Sure. Yeah.
And they unveiled the concept for this, and everybody was wowed back in 2015 at the Detroit Auto Show. It had some really cool features. It had like sliding bed that you can actually configure in different ways.
It looks super cool, actually. I love the look of it. It's very futuristic, very Hyundai futuristic.
Yeah, and you guys have all been out there asking us, is this thing going to be real? Well, this week Hyundai announced that they're going to build it. It's probably going to be a 2019, maybe a 2020. It's if it's a 2020, that's 5 years after they debuted the concept, and they missed out on a lot of truck sales. But the interesting part here is that the Ridgeline, which is kind of the non-traditional truck, let's call it that. Sure. I know you guys might call it something else, but let's call it the non-traditional truck, and that's a mid-size truck. This slots in below it, and I think that the sales of the Ridgeline, which actually sell really well. So they sell every Ridgeline they can get. Of course, the Ridgeline is built on an Odyssey platform. It comes in a front-wheel drive, which is very un-pickup truck-like.
It's not body on frame. It's a full chassis. Yeah, it's not a super traditional truck.
No, it's not a super traditional truck. And the Hyundai Santa Cruz is going to follow kind of in that. In those tire tracks, right?
Sure.
But they're going to make it a little bit smaller, and they're going to make it, I hope, more for urban dwellers, right? That's the idea. So if you guys live in, let's say, Santa Cruz,
fitting place,
this is a truck for you, because obviously even a mid-sized truck like a Ridgeline is pretty hard to park.
Yeah, it's big.
Yeah.
I mean, for small city parking spots, it's a big car.
It's a big car. So, we're kind of going down that El Camino road.
I like the Baja comparison. That's a good one. The Subaru Baja is kind of like a really small, it's based on the layout.
So maybe moving some furniture. And, I'm going to talk to you out there, Hyundai. I'm going to say, why did it take you so long? We've been scratching our heads here. The truck market is just red hot, Michael. Red hot,
super hot. The Colorado's hot. The Canyon's hot. The Tacoma's hot.
Yeah, even the Frontier, the oldest truck.
Hot. The Ranger is highly anticipated. That'll be hot. The whole segment is just blazing hot right now.
Yeah, I was surprised it took them that long, but it's coming. It's official. 2019, 2020. Santa Cruz is on its way.
And so part of the reason, actually, not to stay stuck on this for too long, but a lot of the reason that they're doing this now is they've seen a huge dip in sales, 11% down this point from last year.
In terms of their automobiles.
In terms of total automobile sales in the U.S.
In the U.S., yeah. Hyundai.
So they're trying to enter a slightly hotter market than the sedan market, which is something that they produce a lot of. This truck was greenlit in a lot of ways to try and help boost sales because they've been slipping a lot lately.
For all of you guys watching us in Europe or not in North America, crossovers and pickups are red hot right now. Sedans are dying on the vine. Sports cars, unfortunately, are also going the same way. Very small numbers being sold when you think of things like the BRZ, but any kind of pickup truck, any kind of crossover, any kind of SUV is red hot.
Super hot.
And so Hyundai's finally realized that that's where they should be playing. And so here we go. And for all you European guys, you always scratch your heads like, why are pickup trucks so popular? All I got to say is, a lot of cool trends start in Europe, like coffee, really good coffee. Now here we have pretty good coffee with Starbucks. But trucks, I think it's a trend that's American that's going to go the other way.
Yeah, I think trucks will become more popular in Europe. And, I was just in Europe for a long period of time, and a surprising amount of Rams, Silverados were actually in Europe. I was kind of surprised to see that many full-size pickups over there.
And actually, we had an email from a guy who had a Raptor in Germany, and he had it for like 6 months, and he said, I just had to sell it because he couldn't park it. He couldn't pay for the fuel for it. But Santa Cruz size pickup, right? I think that's going to work not just in North America, but in much of the rest of the world. So I think this is going to be a vehicle that'll be, we don't know this is just speculation, that's going to be sold throughout the entire world. So all of you guys in South America, Australia, you guys love utes down there. This is all, I think, going to be available for the rest of the world. All right, let's talk about the big news from Ram.
Yeah, we have some spy photos of a new 2019 Ram 1500. Special thanks to Brian R. for sending us those pictures.
Thank you, Brian.
Of course, we can't show you the pictures right now, but head on over to tfltruck.com, and there's an article with all the pictures in there. So this is huge, Roman. You want to talk about this a little bit?
Yeah, you know, Ram has the second oldest pickup truck right now in America after the Frontier, and we're speculating that it's going to roll out probably in Detroit this year, and that what they're going to do most likely is because, well, it used to be that the manufacturers would design a vehicle, there'd be a prototype, and then there would be, let's say, a year before the prototype, or maybe 2 years, and then they would let us drive it, and then 6 months later, you guys could actually go buy it. With the Ram, they're already doing the tooling for it at the factory, so we suspect that it's going to roll out in Detroit, and within, gosh, less
6
than
months, a year?
No,
Less than
like
that?
30 days or less.
Wow.
It'll be available for sale.
Okay.
So we're expecting it first quarter of 2018.
Okay, that's soon.
Yeah, and if you look at the pictures, you'll see that they're relatively kind of baked already. The truck looks done.
Yeah.
And I just came back from, me and Nathan were at the Trackhawk, which is the 707 horsepower Hellcat engine that they put in a Jeep Grand Cherokee.
Super jealous you got to go to that, by the way.
Yeah, making it the
that
most
sounds fun.
expensive Jeep ever. So if you want to check out that video, check out our car channel. 99. Well, let's call
basically
it
$100,000 Jeep.
Yeah. And I just want to make a correction. I didn't make a mistake in that video. I said there was a gas guzzler tax on top of that. There isn't.
Oh, okay.
But it's still with destination
Plus tax.
It's $35 short of 100K.
Yeah. Nears makes no difference.
But I can't wait till they stick that engine in a pickup truck. So
Whoa.
there's a TRX which they debuted last year.
SEMA?
No, it was at the Texas.
State Fair?
Yeah, Texas State Fair, I believe, and they debuted it there. And I'm betting within 2 years, once they introduce the new Ram 1500, there will be a Hellcat 707 horsepower or something like it in a truck.
Wouldn't it?
Yeah,
like a sport. Do you think a sport truck or something with off-road capability?
I think it'll be an off-road truck to compete with the Raptor, but a hell of a lot more power.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, supercharged. The TRX, I think, is 500 or 600 horsepower. Raptor is, of course, 450. So these guys just, took the bar and upped it even higher.
Way up, yeah.
All right, well, let's keep going with the truck news because there is more.
There is more truck news, and of course, this is the last thing we have to talk about today, but it's the 2018 Toyota Tacoma. There's a few changes for 2018. Nothing huge. A couple engine changes, a couple sort of option changes. The first thing is Toyota Safety Service, which is lane departure warning, lane keep assist, adaptive cruise control, forward collision warning. That is now on all models. It's available on all models of the Tacoma. So, just some added safety features, which is always nice, I suppose. Sometimes those lane keep assists can be a little annoying, so hopefully there's a way to turn that off. But yeah, that's semantics. The V6 trucks all come standard with the towing package now.
Nice.
So, that's nice.
That's good.
There is no longer a V6 in the SR trim, which is like the fleet truck.
Right.
So, maybe for the average consumer, not the biggest piece of news, but for someone buying fleet trucks, I guess you can't get a V6 anymore. There's a couple color changes. You can't get the cement paint color on the TRD Pro.
Yeah, that color is red hot.
Yeah.
The Jeep has one, I think it's called Rhino, the Trackhawk. That's very similar. That kind of cementy, gray.
Flat gray.
Yeah.
It's a gloss finish, but a flat color.
Yeah, that's a red hot color. Subaru has it in their Impreza Crosstrek, I believe.
Audi, Volkswagen, Porsche all have it. Yeah, that's a big color.
It's like a color of the moment right now.
Yeah.
Keep going. What else?
But instead, if you want a dark truck though, you can get Midnight Black. It's the new black color. The biggest news though is that there is still no diesel engine, which we've kind of been anticipating, hoping for a diesel for a while, and it's still not here, guys. So
yeah, the rumors have been swirling, Mike, that Toyota's going to stick a diesel because they have a diesel. They have diesel, of course, in the rest of the world in the Hilux, in Australia, in South America, but not in America, I fear. No diesel for Toyota, at least not for 2018. So for all of you guys out there and gals who've been waiting for that diesel Toyota Tacoma or Tundra, I don't think it's happening, at least not in the next 12 months.
No, not anytime soon.
Yeah.
So that's the major changes for 2018. Of course, if you want to see what other features you can play around with, there's a link to the configurator online in our article on tfltruck.com. So if you want to go play around with all the new options and see what sort of dream truck you want to build yourself, then you can go ahead and do that. But these are the major options that we wanted to cover. Deliveries will be starting in October of 2017 on the 2018 model.
Why don't you read the questions and I'll go over some other news.
Yeah,
of course, the big news from a Jeep perspective this week is that there was some reporting done that the Chinese company Great Wall, which is a Chinese auto manufacturer, is actually interested in either buying FCA or parts of FCA like Jeep. I was at the Jeep program yesterday, and I did talk to the Jeep guys, and they basically said that there's no sale pending. So if you guys we actually got an email from somebody sending out a petition saying that we don't want to sell Jeep to the Chinese. And I think we're very far from Great Wall buying FCA or Jeep. Of course, FCA has been trying to partner with either GM or some other Chinese companies for a long time. The company is financially challenged, and a partnership like that might be smart. You know, I'm not going to make a judgment on whether it was a good call or a bad call for the Chinese to buy, let's say, FCA or Jeep. I think that's very political.
Super political.
Yeah, and I think that our government may have some, especially in today's political climate, may have some reservations about that. But the one thing I will say, and this is true, it's a different situation, but of course Geely, the Chinese company, bought Volvo, and Volvo is doing better than ever.
Doing better than ever and making big moves towards electrification.
Yeah, they announced that every vehicle is going to be electric, but basically what the fear was that Geely bought Volvo as a way to suck the technology out of Volvo.
Yeah.
But what they did, in fact, was throw a lot of money at it, let Volvo swim or sink, and let them actually build and develop really good cars, and Volvo is thriving.
Yeah, Volvo had a bit of a brand identity crisis for a while after they got sold by Ford. And so what Geely did, what Geely did was they just threw money at it essentially, and finally found a bit of like they got back to their brand identity a little bit. And you know they're still working that out, but it's definitely
you get a little Swedish look about you. I'm joking because Mike is a big.
We're getting into my Volvo fanboydom here.
I know you are.
Which I am definitely a bit of a Volvo fanboy. But
don't you have an old classic Volvo at home?
I might have something at home sitting in the driveway that I drive every time I get to go visit the parents. But we'll have to do a video on that soon. That'd be fun.
Yeah, we'll have to profile your Volvo. The other company that was sold, of course, when Ford had to restructure in order to basically get a loan when everything went south in 2009 was Land Rover and Jaguar. That was bought by an Indian company called Tata. And basically the same story. Tata gave them a budget and they said, here's a boatload of cash. You guys do what you need to do with it. Start making money, and that's all we're giving you. And both Land Rover and Jaguar are now back.
They're hot.
They're hot. Yeah, they're building really good cars. They're taking care of some of the issues that they've had in the past. They're bringing it up to, I would say, the German rivals, if not beyond the German rivals in some of their cars.
Above,
yeah. So that doesn't mean that, of course, the Great Wall buying Jeep or Ram, right?
It would not be the end of Jeep or Ram is the point. Like, it's not going to ruin the company. It would be potentially harmful to our economy, though. I mean, that's a lot of jobs and stuff.
If they move the jobs.
Yeah, if they move the jobs.
But it's not that easy to move a Jeep factory.
No.
All the tooling in Toledo. Jeep has been made in Toledo forever.
Yeah.
And to move all that tooling would be very difficult.
A logistical nightmare.
And it would probably be very silly. Having said that, I don't know if this is probably before your time, but Jeep and I don't know what the company was, but there was a joint partnership where Jeep did sell a lot of Cherokees in China. So there was a joint venture. There was a Jeep factory in China. They dissolved the partnership.
Okay.
But Jeep was one of the earliest brands to actually go into China. This was long before the recent kind of.
China has a really weird thing going on with their automotive production system. So you have in China you have to
partner.
Essentially,
a joint venture.
Yeah, it's a factory that gets started unrelated to any brand. And then they essentially buy a licensing agreement from the automaker to build and then produce their cars.
But the issue from kind of a political standpoint in America, of course, would be that any Chinese company is in essence government owned and run.
Right,
I mean, it's still communist. So you're basically having the Chinese government potentially, or parts of the Chinese government buying American brands, which is obviously problematic. It's also potentially troubling for domestic jobs and national security, and that's when the government could step in and say, we need this, we're not going to allow this sale to go through. So I know you guys are out there worried about it, some of you at least, but we're a long way from Geely, Great Wall buying Jeep. But you never know,
it could happen.
It could happen. Yeah. Any questions out there?
One interesting question. Sinister Scat Pack 392.
Hey, Sinister
is asking, since you just drove the Trackhawk, is there a possibility we're going to purchase or lease one for a long-term test vehicle, or maybe just ask Jeep to give us one?
That's a really good question. I asked Jeep to give us a Jeep, but not that one. we don't have the funds, guys. To
no,
we're barely.
It's a $100,000
car. Yeah, no, we don't have the money to do that. Not on YouTube money, and the Hellcats public, our Hellcats public have to go too. But I did ask Jeep for a long term for next year, and guess which one I asked for?
Probably the new Wrangler.
Yes, I asked for the new JL, and they said we're going to be first on the list. So
that works.
Yeah, we're hoping to get the new Jeep Wrangler.
How about a Scrambler?
That's still pretty far off. Yeah. So we just got the Final Frontier, which is the cheapest Frontier. That went away this week. And tomorrow on this channel, actually, Andre did a kind of a wrap up NPG, and we're gonna publish that.
I'm disappointed that's gone. I didn't notice it left.
It's gone.
Oh.
Yeah, we got it for 6 months. It's gone. So hopefully, if it rolls out in LA, which we think it will, the new JL Wrangler, then not too long after that, we're gonna get a long-term one. Jeep,
sweet.
Please.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, if they're not too mad at me for doing this video with the Trackhawk, calling it the most expensive Jeep ever, which it is, but it's probably not something that they want to.
They're entering into the high price tag market.
All right, what else you got there?
Hyundai. Todd asked, has Hyundai given a date? Yeah, they said 2020 is it's expected to be released in 2020, along with 3 other new or refreshed SUVs.
Yeah, they're getting big into the crossover.
Yeah,
SUV.
The SUV crossover. They have a 7-seater crossover coming that's going to replace the Santa Fe, supposedly. So the 2020 is the tentative date. That's when you should be expecting to hear more information about the Santa Cruz.
All right. Any other questions before we wrap this up? And guys, I want to let you know that Andre right now is on a program driving the new Terrain. So that video will be coming up on Friday, and then tomorrow and this weekend we're going back to the F-250, where we had a little bit of a failure with that truck. Ford was kind enough to give it back to us because we actually needed it back because we didn't get a chance to run it. The truck basically ate itself.
Yeah, that didn't go well. The fan blew up, something like that.
Yeah, Ford said, actually, we have news on that. Ford said that it was a water pump failure that caused the belt to break, which caused the fan to break, which caused the fan to eat the radiator, which caused the truck to leak fluid, which caused the failure. So
like a Rube Goldberg device for killing an engine.
So on Saturday morning, we're going to publish that video. So the ike outlet, not the one where it failed. You've seen that already.
Yeah, we did get to retest it and take it up the ike outlet.
Yeah, so we're not going to tell you how it did, but come back Saturday. And then tomorrow on TFL Truck, I think we're going to do a disco towing video.
Okay.
Yeah, we did a disco towing test, MPG test with the diesel. And the reason that you truck guys might be interested in that is because that diesel in the new Discovery, Land Rover Discovery, is basically the same diesel that they're putting into the Ford F-150.
Yeah.
So it's as close as we're going to get to testing the F-150 with the diesel and how it tows. So you'll really want to stay tuned for that. Yeah. That video is coming tomorrow on TFL Truck.
Yeah. Okay. I don't see any other pressing questions.
Right.
Andre's been pretty on top of it. So I think we're going to call it for today then.
Yes.
Thank you guys very much for joining us. Be sure to go to tfltruck.com, of course, for all of the trucks that we mentioned today. And we'll have articles up there at least by the end of the day if they're not already up. So thanks again for watching. My name is Michael, and
this is Roman as always. And Michael, go turn that live stream off, would you please?
Thanks, guys.
Before you turn it off, the one thing I do want to let you know is on TFL Car, we're going to be changing the way that we do videos. And we've done videos in the past where they have been kind of single, videos. We're going to go more toward kind of just following what the company is doing and telling a much longer story. So the videos aren't going to be kind of standalone videos. They're going to be part of a better narrative. So we're going to be telling you what's coming up. We're going to be referencing videos kind of like this that we've done in the past, and hoping to get you guys more involved in the way that we here hopefully cover the news and review trucks. So we want to bring you guys into not just behind the scenes, but actually kind of give you a sense of the flow and how things work at TFL, because you guys really are the lifeblood of this channel, and we're so grateful that you take the time to watch and come here. And we read the comments, so we understand when the sound is bad. We're working on that, and as soon as we get money, we buy more equipment and try to get better sound. And I especially, I know this is going long, want to thank our patrons, the guys who are actually donating a few bucks, 5, 2, 10, whatever it is a month to help make this what it is. So thank you all, and I'll see you guys next time. Ciao.